Yo guys, if you sell or buy crypto, then you for sure want to have some edge. So I thought it was a good idea to create a suite of tools with all the tools that I have as an algo trader, and I can show you how they work and how I use them to my benefit, and then put all these tools in one suite so you can also use them and you can also see how they are created. So today we will build the first tool in our arsenal, which will be a data stream from Binance, where we will pull all the purchases and all the sell orders for a single pair or more pairs. You can have as much pairs as you want yourself. You can also track whale orders by doing this. So if you think that is interesting and you want to follow all the tools that we will create, make sure that you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of these. Alright guys, so today we will build a data stream for spot purchases and spot sellings. If you go to Binance, you can also find the information to do exactly the same for derivatives, which means you can do the same for futures. But we will today focus only on spot purchases and spot sellings. So if you click on products and go to spot trading, you'll find more information, but we are interested in WebSocket streams. So here you will find all the information that you will need to actually build the same thing that we will build today. I will put the link in the description so you can just go here and read through it. But if you follow the video, then it will make sense as well. So the thing that we will build is the stream, and I can start it here for you so you get a better understanding how it looks like and what we can actually do. So by starting the WebSocket connection, we get all the sells and purchases, and at the moment I'm tracking Bitcoin and XRP, and as you can see, this gives us a nice overview of what people are selling, what they're buying, and we also highlight the bigger orders, like the whale orders, you can say, when they buy and when they sell, of course. These amounts, they are not fixed. You can set them as high or as low as you want. But for now they are set to 25,000 and 50,000 for whale orders. Alright guys, so this is the code base and everything starts in the orders.ts file. As I said, we will create a lot of different tools, so I will try to structure them in a way that it makes sense. But this file is set under data streams, Binance, and then it's called orders. So in this codebase, you will also use a WebSocket connection because I think these are really good to get real-time information. And everything starts with calling the Binance Trade Stream function. And that is what we call here. That's how it looks like. We initialize a WebSocket and we provided a WebSocket URL. All my URLs are stored in an environment file, which you can find under environment. I don't show my environment file because in the future it can contain like some private information, but for now it still looks the same. And there I just put the Binance spot like URL. Also, this URL you can find in the documentation. So if you go to the WebSocket streams, here you'll find what URLs to use and how to structure them. But I will show you in the video how to do this. But that's just the URL that I use, and I paste it in the environment file. And then in the code base, I can just call it in really easy by using a package called .env. And .env is just a zero dependency module that loads environment variables in your file here. So once that's done, we created a new instance from WebSocket. We provided the URL that we want to use. And once it opens, we also need to subscribe to certain events. And if you go back to the documentation, you can scroll down a bit. And here it says how you can subscribe to the WebSocket and what parameters you need to provide. So in case that you want to read more about what data streams are available, then you can actually check the documentation. But it's really simple. So you provide the pair and then what kind of information that you want. So we want trade information. So this socket will need to subscribe, and for that we have a subscribe message. So that is actually just the same, copied here, and then I pasted it, and this is the object that holds the things that we want to subscribe to. Some of these things I put in a config file, so if you go to this config file, you can see that we want to subscribe to the pairs XRP USDT and also Bitcoin USDT, and we want the trade information. So that is what we actually say here, what we want. And the config file I also load in on the top of the screen, import config. So we can actually put all these things that you want to fine tune or that you want to change later in a separate file. So it's really easy to come here and say, I want to add another pair, or I want to remove a pair. I want to change the price that I want to track. That's why I use the config file. So this is the subscribe message that we will use to subscribe to the WebSocket. And once it opens, we can actually send it a subscribe message. So that's what we do here. And once that's done, we just console out like the WebSocket is open and the subscription message has been sent. So then you also have listeners for error, which we can use to console out something like the WebSocket it failed for some reason. And we can also have one for close. So once it closes, it says it's closed, and we can also start it again automatically after 5 seconds. What we also have is the logic for the message, because that's the most important one. Once we receive an order, we actually want to do something with this. Now, if you subscribe to the WebSocket, you will receive a response, of course. So here it says if you subscribe to a stream, then you will do this request and you will get this response. Of course, this response is different from when we use the WebSocket once we are subscribed. We will get a response as well, but it will look different. So that's why we have this first check here. So once we receive a message, we want to check, hey, is this the response that we got because we subscribed successfully, or are we actually getting a order back? So that's what we're doing here. So if we're getting a success message, we are subscribed, then it just says subscription successful for streams, and then it will say like what streams the successful subscription has been set. If it's not a subscription successful message, then we will move on and we will actually get the data from the order. Now, if you go back to the documentation, you will find more information on how these responses actually look like. So let's have a look on where we can find this info. We have WebSocket streams, we have user data streams, and I need to look myself. I think it's under WebSocket streams, and then we go down. So here we say detailed stream information. We don't use trade, we use actually trade. So where do we have trade as well? We use trade. So this is the one we use. And here it will say how this payload that you will receive looks like. So E stands for event type. Then you have event time. You have the symbol. You have the trade ID. You have the actual price, the quantity, the trade time. I'm not sure what is the difference between the event and the trade time. They are probably quite the same, just as it is here. And then you have the M for maker, which means is this a buy or a sell order. So by knowing this, we can actually handle the data that we get back in the correct way. And that's actually what we do here. So the data that we get back, we put it into a string format, and then we parse it into JSON so we can actually use it correctly, and we can actually manipulate the object. So then we just go on. The display symbol in our case is order, because that's what we get back, and S. So if you go back to the thing, you see here S stands for symbol. And if we go on, we have the price with P, the Q is the quantity, the order USD amount is of course the price times the quantity, the trade time if we are maker, the order time, and the trade ID. So now that we have all this information, we can move on. What we do here is actually convert this time that we get back, because it's called a Unix timestamp, which we get back. We want to actually convert it into something more readable. And for that, we use a package also, I believe. It's called Luxon, and you can also look up this. It's a library for working with dates. So if you just Google like Luxon or npmi Luxon, then you will find more information on this package. But the thing the package does is it just helps us to make the data that we get back, or the timestamps that we get back, it makes it a bit more readable for us. Here we set what time zone we want to use. Since I'm in Sweden, I'm using Europe, Stockholm, and how I want to show the time. And this is hour, minutes, and seconds. Next, we can move on, and here starts our logic for displaying the actual orders. So we only want to track certain orders because this stream will return us everything. It will return us orders, buy and sell from even $1, $2, $3, $4, $5. But we don't really want to track these. So what we do is we check the order USD amount, and if it's bigger than the one we set, also again, it's set in config. So if we go there, minimum price, $25,000. If it's bigger than that, then we want to do something with it. If it's smaller than $25,000, we don't really care. So that's what we do here. We check if it's bigger than $25,000, then we move on. The trade type, this is if it's a buy or a sell order. And then we look at the trade maker. And what we get back here is true or false. So if we know if it's maker, it's true, then it's a sell. If it's not, it's a buy order. So that's what we do here with this logic. Then we also want to have some color and some emojis. If it's a buy order, we want it green. If it's a sell order, we want it red. And we also want to have a nice emoji. And that's what we do here. So if it's a sell order, if the trade type is sell, then we do it in red. Otherwise, it's green. And this type of logic, it's called a ternary operator, because you can also write it in if trade type is sell, then chalk red, else chalk green. But to make it a bit more readable, we do it actually in one line. And you can look it up. It's called ternary operator, but it's just an if-else statement. We do the same for the emoji. And then we move on because we also want to filter out whale orders. So again, if the order USD amount is bigger, and we have it also stored in config, min price whale. So if we're going to look here, 50,000, then we also want to change the color a bit, and we want to change the emoji also a bit because we want to make it a bit more bright and both green and red, and we want to give it a bit of a different emoji so we can easily see when it's a whale order. So that's what we do here. After that, we put everything in a string to output it, and we say we want to have the emoji, we want to have the trade type, the display symbol, when it was traded, and so on, actually the type as well, and time. And all of that we put in color, which is actually needed for this Shulk library to output it in the right color, and then we log it. And as an addition, we also store it in a file that we also put in the config file. We call it dump file name, and we store it in source dumps Binance trade.csv. So we can actually in the future, if we build more tools, we can actually use this data to get information from. So now we're just pulling the data. We will see the data, but we will also store it in a CSV file. And that is what we are doing here. So FS, it means file system. It's a standard Node.js import that you can do, and it actually interacts with your file system. And also the first thing that we here do is checking if this file already exists. If not, then we create a file so we can actually use it later in our program here to write the data to. And that's what we do here. So we specify the file system name, or we specify the file name, and then also what we want to save there. As a script, it's not as hard as it looks like. It's quite straightforward. So if we spin this up again, we should see all the orders coming in. So we have npm run, and the start command you can find in package.json. So here you have a start command, and it says npx TSX, source data streams, Binance, orders TS. But we don't want to always type this, so we have a start command, and then we can just do npm run start ds Binance. And if it's all good, then you will see that it says here we are subscribed to these two, BTC and XRP, and all the orders come in. So if you say like, yeah, actually I want to see more results, I'm not really interested in these big ones, then we can also stop it. We can go to config. We can say I want to see everything that is over 5,000. Of course we will get more, and I only want to track whale orders that are like about 100,000. So then we can also say we don't want to track Bitcoin, we only want to track XRP. Then we can run it again, and then we will get all the XRP orders from 5,000 and on, and we will see the whale orders which are bigger than 100,000. So here it goes. We have a sell order, spot 5,000. So of course not as much is going on with XRP as it is with Bitcoin, but you get the point. If you don't believe me, if it's all the orders, I can show you. We can actually set this to 1, and then you'll see that a lot of orders will come in, but it's a bit information overload. We don't want that. We want to track only relevant information. As you can see, it's too much. We cannot really do much with that. So to show that it also puts the trades in the CSV file, you can just click on the CSV and you have all the trades here. And that information that we will use later to do like build strategies on top, or to extract certain info that we want to use with other tools. So that's it. That's the first data stream that you can use as an algo trader. It tracks the purchases and sells of spot data, and it can be really handy if you want to see in what state the market is. Are people more selling or are they more buying? So that's it, and I'll see you in the next video.